This is a Cartoon Campaign 2000 Election Day update. Now from Cartoon Campaign headquarters in Washington, here's Bruce Taylor.
It appears that Tom and Jerry have finished in 9th place, which will shock many insiders who projected a much lower placing for two candidates who clearly can't get along and who never once made a single campaign promise. Some supporters speculate that voters like candidates who keep their mouths shut and who let food fights do their talking for them. Again, Tom and Jerry have finished 9th. More later.
This is a Cartoon Campaign 2000 Election Day update. Now from Washington, D.C., here's Monica Schumann with an update on 9th place finishers Tom and Jerry.
I'm Monica Schumann in Washington, where Smithsonian officials are expressing relief that Tom and Jerry's battles won't be taking place among priceless presidential heirlooms. A few hours ago, conservative leaders also issued a statement thanking voters for not blessing the cat and mouse union, saying it clearly was not what nature intended. Why didn't the average American support Tom and Jerry? Voters I talked with said they'd simply had enough of squabbling couples in the White House. For Cartoon Campaign 2000, I'm Monica Schumann.
This is a Cartoon Campaign 2000 Election Day update. Now from Cartoon Campaign headquarters in Washington, here's Bruce Taylor.
Hello. We can now declare an 8th place finish. Finishing at number 8 is Sylvester and Tweety. Sylvester and Tweety, finishing close to the top, but apparently the daily spelling and history blunders by Sylvester, plus continuous questioning of Tweety's gender, cost them the top spot. Again, finishing at number 8 is Sylvester and Tweety. More on the top 10 later.
Coming up next, the voters send Fred Flintstone back to the Stone Age, and Ollie's going to tell you why he wants to join him.
Cartoon Network's voting returns coverage of Cartoon Campaign 2000 will return. This is a Cartoon Campaign 2000 Election Day update. Now, here's Bruce Taylor.
Now let's go once again to Ollie North and Paul Bagala for their thoughts on the results so far.
Thanks, Bruce. Here at Equal Time, we're going over the election results in detail. And Ollie, one of your guys, Fred Flintstone, goes down in flame. People rejected his so-called modern Stone Age values when they looked and saw that his lovely wife, Wilma, a total babe, always barefoot. He wouldn't even put shoes on his wife's feet.
Well, I think there's a number of factors here. First of all, he did finish 10th. It's not like he finished 50th like some of your candidates. Second of all, you guys made a frontal attack on the Royal Order of Water Buffaloes. I maintain that they should never have come under that attack. I think it was grossly unfair. They have wonderful headdresses. And quite frankly, one of the things that I think Fred underestimated is that his campaign slogan, Yabba Dabba Doo, was not enough to carry the day when most political events require shoes.
Well, I think people did want more substance than the Yabba Dabba Doo, and I have to disagree with you. The water buffaloes and their hats, that secret society with the huge hats with the horns coming out. No. People don't want that in their president. When they're looking for a guy to be the president, they want someone who, first off, is fully clothed, and they want someone who's not wearing a funny hat.
Here's the real surprise. Tom and Jerry running as a team finishing 9th. Quite frankly, I would have thought that given that there's so many cooks in the kitchen in all of these, and you've got this, quite frankly, this contest that goes on nonstop between these two, I thought it would have basically turned voters off.
Well, we saw the food fight where the plates, the biscuits, the buns were flying back and forth. And, you know, they just should have known this. There is some natural law that I think voters saw that they felt was violated when you put a cat and a mouse. It's always going to be, well, they're going to fight like Tom and Jerry.
And I think you've got that same factor, that two diverse characters running as a team in the Sylvester and Tweety race where they finished. You know, Sylvester, first of all, can't pronounce anything with an F or a Th correctly. And that's part of his problem.
Well, the other thing, as a cat, he kept coming up with the 9 lives question. How many lives is he through now? Is he at number 8, in which case it's a big risk? Is he at number 1? And then how he chases Tweety like that. I think a lot of people feel for that little yellow guy.
Well, and I think that did affect the women's vote because of their concern for little yellow things like Tweety Bird.
They hate to see a big, powerful cat going after this little guy like that.
Well, I just tell you, I was very disappointed.
Well, that's how we see it right here at Equal Time.
This is a Cartoon Campaign 2000 Election Day update. Now from Cartoon Campaign headquarters in Washington, here's Bruce Taylor.
We can now declare that in 7th place is Ed, and Eddy. Some would say that a finish in the top 10 is a surprise because the three Eds were considered by many to be too gross to run for office. We all remember the damaging campaign stop in California where Ed, that's Ed with one D, began offering supporters half-eaten jawbreakers that he had peeled from his legs. So once again, Ed, and Eddy have finished in 7th place. More in the top 10 later.
This is a Cartoon Campaign 2000 Election Day update. Now from Minneapolis, here's Bruce Leonard with an update on 6th place finisher, Courage the Cowardly Dog.
I'm Bruce Leonard in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where the Courage team is blaming his poor numbers on a lack of media exposure. The political newcomer is up against a tough field of established candidates, and Courage cowered from reporters after being frightened by flashes at his press conference. The so-called whim factor also evident in last week's Cartoon Network poll when a majority of Americans said they wouldn't trust candidate Courage to defend their dirty socks, let alone the Constitution of the United States. This has been a Cartoon Campaign 2000 update. I'm Bruce Leonard.
This is a Cartoon Campaign 2000 Election Day update. Now from Cartoon Campaign headquarters in Washington, here's Bruce Taylor.
And now we can bring you the 5th place finisher, Brak. Now, Brak is a candidate many projected as a serious contender with a large contingency of supporters. However, Brak came under much criticism for building his platform around the power of good, gassy, gobbledygook beans, and for refusing to elaborate on what the word gobbedy actually means. For more on the 5th place Space Ghost campaign, here's Heather Kelly in Las Vegas.
I'm Heather Kelly in Las Vegas, where observers say Space Ghost just wasn't animated enough during televised presidential debates, and that his long, uncomfortable pauses and his tendency to hum loudly unnerved viewers. In the end, it was his stilted delivery and his awkward posturing that led most voters to agree that Space Ghost would have made a much better candidate for vice president. For Cartoon Campaign 2000, I'm Heather Kelly.
You're watching Cartoon Campaign 2000 Election Day coverage. Coming up next, the 4th and 3rd place finishers, only on Cartoon Network. This is a Cartoon Campaign 2000 Election Day update. Now from Cartoon Campaign headquarters in Washington, here's Bruce Taylor.
We have a 4th place finish to bring you now. Finishing at number 4 are Dexter and Dee Dee. Voters were apparently concerned that Dee Dee's duties in the all-girl ballet and Flower Fund Society might conflict with her responsibilities as leader of the free world, and so they sent Dexter and Dee Dee back to the laboratory this year rather than on to the White House. Once again, Dexter and Dee Dee finish in 4th place. More on the top 3 coming up later.
This is a Cartoon Campaign 2000 Election Day update. Now from Seattle, here's Christina McKenna with an update on 4th place finisher, Dexter's Laboratory.
I'm Christina McKenna in Seattle with a Cartoon Campaign 2000 update on Dexter and Dee Dee's race for the presidency. Like most sibling rivalries, this one started off with just a few choice words and ended with everyone getting spanked. Earlier today, Dexter refused to attribute the loss to simply bad chemistry, saying while some Americans of limited intelligence may have thought his political experiments were scary, they couldn't be half as scary as the words President Dee Dee. This has been a Cartoon Campaign 2000 update. I'm Christina McKenna.
This is a Cartoon Campaign 2000 Election Day update. Now from Cartoon Campaign headquarters in Washington, here's Bruce Taylor.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're now down to three. Three very different candidates from three very different generations. So let us now tell you who has finished as number 3. Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny has finished at number 3. Obviously a huge disappointment to the front-running rabbit. Long considered the favorite in this campaign by politicians and athletes alike. But like in all politics, it comes down to one truth. It's not who you know in politics, but how many lunchboxes you're on. Once again, Bugs Bunny finishing at number 3. The top 2 coming up later.
Paul has tried to defend him, but when we come back, I'll tell you why the voters are saying close but no cigar to Bugs Bunny.
Cartoon Network's voting returns coverage of Cartoon Campaign 2000 will return. This is a Cartoon Campaign 2000 Election Day update. Now, here's Bruce Taylor.
Now let's go once again to Ollie North and Paul Begala for their thoughts on the results so far.
Thank you, Bruce. Ollie, I look at these election results, a lot of surprises here at the top of the heap.
Indeed.
Look at Dexter's Lab. Comes in 4th place. Now, this is a guy you'd think they'd have all the balance. He's got this charming sister with the great personality, Dee Dee. Then you have Dexter with the big brain. Should have been a perfect match.
They should never have run as a team. You have this enormous disparity in intellectual acumen between Dexter and Dee Dee. You've also got the very dark force of Mandark in all of this. Who knows what role he was going to play in a Dexter-Dee Dee administration? And you could have divided the nation right down the middle and have this guy crossing the line all the time. I don't think it was going to work, Paul.
I think it's always tough with sibling rivalry. When you get a brother and a sister and they're running together, there's always a chance that could be really divisive for the country.
And apparently a lot of people looked at Dexter and saw Steve Forbes and said, that's not the man we want running the country.
Bright guy, but too geeky. Now, the one that I'm most upset about is the bunny who placed third.
Bugs.
Bugs should have won this thing, Ollie. You and your friends attacked him, invented a scandal. He's an honorable bunny. And you went out there and attacked him and trashed him, and look what happened, 3rd place.
Let's deal with the truth here for just a few moments on the Cartoon Network. Bugs Bunny brings Smello cigars into the country, hidden under the fez of his campaign manager as he crosses the border from Toronto, Canada. I exposed that on this broadcast, Paul, because I thought people needed to know that. You cannot be breaking these kinds of laws.
He didn't break a law. He never gave, cigars are only for grown-ups. He never gave them to any kids. He gave them out to some of his voters, and he was just having a good time. Look, he's one of the most personable, enjoyable cartoons ever drawn, and you guys attacked him, and I hated to see.
Look, it's not you guys. Bob Dole endorsed him, Paul.
And so did Kurt Warner, the football hero.
But the fact is, he disappointed both of them. What a terrible disappointment it was, and I think we were obligated, Paul, to expose what Bugs Bunny did in this campaign.
Well, I think all he did was, as he usually does, he just made a wrong turn in Albuquerque.
He often does that. That's how we see it here on Equal Time, Bruce.